Good afternoon. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join with me in singing hymn number 131 in the gray hymnal, Love Will Guide Us. The words will also be on the screen.
Good afternoon. We are so excited and grateful to welcome you all, both in person and online, here to the Fox Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship for this celebration as we ordain Steve Seek to the Unitarian Universalist Ministry. I'm Reverend Christina Leone Tracy, one of the co-ministers here, and I'm joined by Reverend Hannah Roberts-Villeneuve, our other co-minister, as well as many wonderful clergy, guests, and so many who have come from near and far to celebrate this day. Our mission here is to welcome seekers, build loving community, and act courageously for justice. Steve has been a member here at the fellowship and a staff member as well, and his ministry embodies this mission of embracing all people, creating meaningful community, and working to make the world a more just and peaceful place. We are honored as a congregation to have known and nurtured Steve and to host this meaningful event this evening. Thank you for being here. And now we will hear from the First Unitarian Society of Milwaukee, where Steve completed his internship, and then a video from the First Unitarian Church of Des Moines, Iowa, where Steve has been called to serve as their next settled minister.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I bring you warm greetings from the First Unitarian Society of Milwaukee, where we gather to nurture the spirit, engage the mind, and inspire action. Along with those greetings, I bring many expressions of gratitude for the gifts Steve shared with us over the 2 years we served as a host congregation for his ministerial internship. As he worked to learn and apply the skills of ministry, Steve's boundless energy and fierce commitment to UU principles touched nearly every part of our congregation. And I suspect that sometimes we learned as much from him as he learned from us, as it should be, I think. So with the certain knowledge that Steve will take that same energy and commitment to his new congregation, we offer our warmest congratulations to him and our best wishes to him and his family for their move to Des Moines. And although we already miss his bright spirit in our midst, we hold the happy conviction that with his ordination into UU ministry, the future of our faith shines all the brighter. Well done, Steve, and Godspeed. Thank you.
We light this flame as a symbol of new life, enlightening our way as a symbol of the warmth in every human heart. Let the lighting of this flame rekindle in us the inner light of hope, of peace, of love. May we share that light with all people.
I'm the Reverend Jim Coakley. Have a ministry that covers many congregations. So I think that's why I was picked to be the greeter from the local UU congregations. In this case, Steve, I think it represents especially Plum, Prairie Lakes UU Ministry Cluster, which for all of you, it's over 25 ministers from Door County, kind of a big crescent through Milwaukee and Madison, and even has Rockton and Rockford, Illinois in it. So we meet every other month and are definitely very pleased and happy and celebrate with you, and happy that you've been our colleague these last few years. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm short. I'm Reverend Tara Winston Sage, the Julia Hervestein of Spiritual Life at Lawrence University here in Appleton, Wisconsin. I'm here to bring deep greetings from the Fox City and to welcome you, Steve, into this community of interfaith and multi-faith work. This is such a pivotal moment as your ministry will continue to take on new directions in this aspect from this point on. While this is the beginning of your ministry, it is the continuation of the thing that you have always done, teaching. Most great spiritual leaders who have come before you came as teachers. It is literally at the root of the word rabbi. To teach, to be present, to listen, to learn, to care are all things that you have always done. Now you get to do them in new ways in an expanding context. So today, I wish you all joy, blessings, and wisdom as you enter this new phase of your ministry. May you always find partnerships with those of us who follow different faith traditions, but share a commitment to just, equitable, compassionate, creative, and a loving world. Welcome, Steve.
I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join with me in singing hymn number 34, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire, number 34.
I am Reverend Kimberly Tomchek Carlson, serving the First Unitarian Society of Milwaukee as their Minister of Religious Education. And the story I have for you today is called 3 Questions. It's originally by Tolstoy, but this adaptation is by John J. Muth. There once was a boy named Nikolai who sometimes felt uncertain about the right way to act. I want to be a good person, he told his friends, but I don't know the best way to do that. Nikolai's friends understood, and they wanted to help him. If only I could find the answer to my 3 questions, Nikolai continued, then I would know what to do. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? And what is the right thing to do? Nikolai's friends considered his first question. Then Sonia the heron spoke. To know the best time to do things, one must plan in advance. Google, the monkey, who'd been rooting through some leaves to find something good to eat, said, "You will know when to do things if you watch and you pay close attention." Then Pushkin, the dog, who was just dozing off, rolled over and said, "You can't pay attention to everything yourself. You need a pack to keep watch and help you decide when to do things. For example, Google, a coconut is about to hit your head." Nikolai thought for a moment, and then he asked his second question. Who is the most important one? Those who are closest to heaven, said Sonia, flying into the sky. Those who know how to heal the sick, said Google, rubbing his head. Those who make the rules, growled Pushkin. Nikolai thought some more. Then he asked the third question. What is the right thing to do? Flying, said Sonia. Having fun all the time, laughed Google. Fighting, barked Pushkin. Then the boy thought for a long time. He loved his friends, and he knew they were trying to help him answer his questions. But their answers, well, they didn't seem quite right. Then an idea came to him. I know, he thought. I will ask Leo the turtle. He has lived a very long time. Surely he will know the answers I am looking for. Nikolai hiked up into the mountain where the old turtle lived all alone. When Nikolai arrived, he found Leo digging a garden. The turtle was old, and digging was hard for him. I have 3 questions for you, and I've come to ask your help, Nikolai said. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? What is the right thing to do? Leo listened carefully, but he only smiled. And then he went on digging. You must be tired, Nikolai said at last. Let me help you. The turtle gave him his shovel and thanked him. And because it was easier for a young boy to dig than it was for an old turtle, Nikolai just kept on digging until all the rows were finished. And just as he finished, the wind began to blow wildly and rain burst from the darkened clouds. And as they moved towards the cottage for shelter, Nikolai, he heard a cry for help. Running down the path, he found a panda whose leg had been injured by a falling tree. Carefully, Nikolai carried her into Leo's house and made a splint for her leg with a stick of bamboo. The storm raged on, banging the doors and windows, and the panda woke up. Where am I, she said, and where is my child? The boy ran out of the cottage and down the path. The roar of the storm was deafening. Pushing against the howling wind and the drenching rain, he ran faster into the forest. There he found the panda's child, cold and shivering and on the ground. The little panda was wet, was scared, but alive. Nikolai carried her inside and made her warm and dry, and he laid her in her mother's arms. Leo smiled when he saw what the boy had done. The next morning, the sun was warm, birds sang, and all was well with the world. The panda's leg was healing nicely, and she thanked Nikolai for saving her and her baby from the storm. And at that moment, Sonia, Google, and Pushkin arrived to make sure everyone was all right. Nikolai felt a great peace within himself. He had wonderful friends. He had saved the panda and her child, but he also felt a little disappointed. He had still not found the answers to his 3 questions. So he asked Leo one more time. And the old turtle looked at the boy. But your questions have been answered, he said. They have? Said the boy. Yesterday, if you had not stayed with me to help me dig my garden, you would not have heard the panda's cries for help in the storm. Therefore, the most important time was the time you spent digging the garden. The most important one at that moment was me, and the most important thing to do was to help me with my garden. Later, you found the injured panda. The most important time you spent mending her leg and saving her child. The most important ones were the panda and the child. And the most important thing to do was to take care of them and make them safe. Remember, then, that there is only one important time, and that time is now. The most important one is always the one you are with. And the most important thing is to do good for the one who is standing by your side. For these, my dear boy, are the answers to what is most important in this world. This is why we are here. The end.
Hi everyone, my name is Nicholas D'Augusto and I'm a Master of Divinity student at Meadville Lombard Theological School, set to graduate in May of 2026. It is a great honor to be invited to participate in this ceremony celebrating Steve Seek, whose bright, noble, funny, and compassionate heart and mind were evident from the first class we had together. I am grateful to have traveled my seminary journey alongside him, learning and sharing, and it brings me great joy and comfort to call him my friend. Though I'm from Nebraska and I live in Los Angeles, I got my bachelor's from Marquette University and I married a woman who grew up just outside of Green Bay, and I have a lot of friends from Appleton, so I am genuinely very sorry that I couldn't be there in person to celebrate with you all today. But I did want to give just a tiny shout out to the fried cheese curds from Dykesville Bowl. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Because they're fantastic. As Unitarian Universalists, we connect generosity to our joy and gratitude for the abundance of this world. Today holds a special offering, as Steve has requested that all money collected be directed to the UUA Living Tradition Fund, which provides support for aspiring, working, and retired ministers and their families through scholarships, seminary debt relief, and emergency assistance grants to not only ministers, but all UU religious professionals and congregational staff. Giving to the Living Tradition Fund during ordination and installation services has become a UU tradition, spanning almost 4 years. Please give generously. And remember, we only live once, but the living tradition is forever. So don't forget to factor eternal inflation into your giving. All right. Love you, Steve. Amen and blessed be. Hi, everyone.
My name is Leah Angiri, and I use she, her pronouns. Hello, beloveds. For those who don't know me, I had the honor of serving the fellowship for almost 10 years, including getting to work with our soon-to-be Reverend Steve during his music directorship. I've moved on to other good work in other good places, and yet I love you still, and I delight in knowing that you are all in each other's beautiful hands with your wonderful co-ministers. Our reading is only a month old, written in mid-April by Victoria Stafford. It is more than we are built to hold. The cruelty, the damage, the danger that seeps now under every threshold, sometimes breaking down the door. It is more than we are built to hold. The grief, the strange shame lurking in the shadow of the mind, whispering that maybe we could, maybe we should do more to resist. But honestly, we don't know what. The rage with nowhere to go. It is more than we are built to hold in our bodies, in our bones. And it's just beginning, and already we are weary beyond words. But consider the elephants. In the zoo last week in San Diego, they felt in their giant, quiet feet the tremors of an earthquake many miles away, and they came together urgently, not panicking. They formed a circle, flank to flank, facing out, ears opened out like wings, eyes scanning the horizon, and in the center, the youngest elephants, the most vulnerable, protected. The tremor passed, the elephants dispersed, and then quickly gathered one more time when aftershocks shook them once again. A circle of protection, which they know innately how and when to cast. They know without argument when to gather, how to hold the ground, hold each other, draw the circle wide. So do we, friends. So do we.
I'm Reverend Roger, and my pronouns are he, him. I remember when Steve contacted me several years ago and shared that he was thinking of taking his career in a very different direction. He shared that one of the moments in this big turn was a sermon I gave there, in 2011, What Our Near Enemies Can Teach Us. So in the Buddhist teachings, near enemy is a bad or ambiguous quality within us that pretends to be a virtue. So take loving kindness. This is an example that Jack Kornfield, the writer, uses. The polar opposite of loving kindness is hatred. That's certainly obvious. It's pretty easy to distinguish between hatred and loving kindness. But it's not so easy to distinguish the near enemy of loving kindness, which is attachment. Attachment effortlessly masquerades as loving kindness, and it looks really similar. But loving kindness focuses on the well-being of another person, while attachment focuses ultimately on the well-being of me. Loving kindness is unconditional. Attachment is conditional. Loving kindness is free and open. Attachment is clingy and controlling. And there is often this incredibly thin line between a virtue and its near enemy. And some of the most important spiritual work each one of us does is being attentive to that. Jack Kornfield suggests that a way to tell the difference between a virtue and its near enemy is that near enemies ultimately separate us from our deepest selves and from others. And virtues ultimately connect to our deepest self and to others. So if you want to know what your near enemies are that you need to worry about, take a look at your virtues, because those near enemies are going to be lurking very nearby. Okay, so here's the thing about that sermon. I personally really liked it, but I distinctly have the impression that after, I don't know how many services we had that weekend, that it just fell flat. Like no one commented on it on the way out. Sometimes that happens. Honestly, when I think about a sermon that I felt was really good and got no response, that's the one that's come to mind. Until this phone call from Steve. So, we preachers have no idea how stuff is going to land. Sometimes we find out a decade later. We never really know what's going on with the hearer and how they receive our message. As Steve reminded me when we spoke lately, the preaching guru Barbara Brown Taylor pictures the sermon as a three-legged stool. There's what the preacher brings, there's what the listeners bring, and then there's that which is brought by the Spirit, is the word she used, or whatever we want to call that thing that's not a thing, but certainly isn't the preacher or the hearer. So it's humbling as a preacher that we only partially control one of those three legs, right? Because even when we do the sermon, when we write it and speak it, at least I experience there's something else going on there. It's not just me. Well, Steve, I have to admit that when you called me and you shared that you were thinking about your ministry, possibly, this idea, in this sermon on near enemies, I was kind of puzzled, even though I really did like the sermon. Really? That one? So I asked Steve more about this a few weeks ago, and he shared that in 2011, he and Anne were in sort of a liminal parenting moment, that the kids from that phase of family development were not quite as needy, out of diapers, more in school, not around so much. And that liminal space gave Steve a chance to ponder how he so easily justified 80-hour work weeks because he was pursuing tenure and financial security for his family. That is the compassionate thing to do for his family. And so, with that space that opened up, he realized that maybe this thing that he thought was compassionate actually was damaging the very people he was most trying to help. And maybe there wasn't always this well-meaning compassion thing behind this, but also maybe a little bit of wanting to be successful, wanting to be accomplished. We're in near enemy territory here. So here we are today, affirming and celebrating that a seed was planted and watered a lot of different ways by a lot of different people. I'm honored to have been one of the people that poured a tiny drop of water on that seed. And against all odds, after all sorts of upheaval and hard work and sacrifices on the part of your family, closing out a very meaningful chapter of your work life, a new call has sprouted to life. But Steve, your timing kind of sucks. I mean, I don't know about you, but the words that Reverend Leah shared from Victoria Safford hit me hard. I bet they're hitting you hard. It is more than we were built to hold. In our bodies, in our bones, it is just beginning, and already we are weary beyond words. What a time to become a minister. So after moving with your family in the next month, you will lean into this work that is more than you were built to hold. You'll lean into this with the hurting people of the Des Moines First Unitarian Church of Des Moines. And I say hurting because they live in the United States in 2025, because they live in a state where reproductive freedom has been taken away, where migrants are targeted for harassment and incarceration and deportation, where for the first time on February 28th, a state removed anti-discrimination policy for gender identity from its civil rights code. The law that the governor of Iowa signed that day, a law that desecrated the ideals of that state and indeed its flag, defines gender as binary, requires birth certificates to prove your sex, and restricts teaching about what the bill calls gender theory in schools. It also explicitly states that separate accommodations are not inherently unequal. Friends, we ought to picture in our mind those bubblers, drinking fountains if you're not from around here, those bathrooms, the lunch counters in pre-civil rights America that were segregated with some labeled colored, some labeled white. We could picture here in Appleton where there was an implicit understanding that if you were black, you needed to be outside of Appleton by sundown. Go to one of those other towns around, but it's separate but equal, separate but equal. And all this in a state, Iowa, which has emblazoned on its flag, our liberties we prize and our rights we will maintain. Well, not everybody's liberties, not everybody's rights. And so there are hurting and scared people in the church in Des Moines and beyond the walls of the church in Des Moines who are facing reproductive choices without a full range of options legal anymore. There are people within and beyond the Des Moines church who are labeled other, who are labeled subhuman and targeted for oppression and persecution. And of course, this congregation that Steve is going to go serve is still recovering from the pandemic, just like all of our congregations. And the Des Moines church had this double whammy of a really difficult ministerial transition in the midst of all that. This is all more than they can hold to. So given all that is unfolding within and beyond the Des Moines church, I'm guessing that the good people of that congregation sense that you are a person who does not radiate anxiety. That you project this much needed quality of equanimity. I think a lot of us feel that from you. And it will be a great strength, dare I say, a virtue of your ministry. And so it is instructive to think about equanimity in terms of its near enemies. The obvious polar opposite is anxiety, but the near enemy is more interesting and important for a person who radiates equanimity. It is detachment. Not the kind of detachment that the Buddha talked about, that actually is a detachment from ends, but a leaning into the world. Not the kind of detachment that creates some temporary space so you can recharge. No, the near enemy is detachment that becomes disengagement and so easily morphs into resignation and ultimately indifference. So when we are facing more than we are built to hold, it is so easy to feel overwhelmed. And those who are part of what the columnist David Brooks said a few days ago is a giant effort to narrow our circle of concern. They want us to be overwhelmed. They are hoping that that feeling of overwhelm leads into disconnecting and ultimately into indifference. And so you, the people of your new congregation, truly all of us, who aren't in the immediate crosshairs of oppression and violence. We need to figure out how to detach now and then so we can be in this for the long haul, in this fight, and we cannot let overwhelm push us into disconnection and ultimately indifference. So the path ahead in Appleton, in Des Moines, in Milwaukee, in Oak Park, wherever we are, is truly treacherous. There is no way, as the offering song put it, to know what will happen. There are no guarantees. There is plenty to lose. There is plenty of fear. And there is nothing ahead but choices. One choice, and then another, and then another. We'll frequently be uncertain. Our choices will not be perfect. Sometimes we'll make the wrong choice. But that's all we can do. All we must do. Make that one choice ahead of us, and then the next, and the next, trying with each choice to be guided by love. It is more than all of us can hold. But nonetheless, we are ready. Steve, you are ready. The people of your Des Moines church are ready. We all are ready. We sure need to be ready. May you and all of us channel those elephants at the San Diego Zoo. May we know when to gather, how to hold the ground, how to hold each other, and draw that circle wide, wider, wider, wider. May it be so.
I'm the Reverend Jennifer Nordstrom. I serve as the senior minister of the First Unitarian Society of Milwaukee. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm honored to have been one of Steve's supervisors during his ministerial internship. I'd like to invite us all now into a time of centering meditation and prayer to the holy as you know it. So take a moment and just find yourself in your body. However you do that, whatever that means to you. Maybe you'll use your breath, letting it move in and out. Or maybe you'll feel your feet resting on the ground. Maybe you can feel the air against your skin. Come into being here and now. Spirit of life and love, Holy One of our being and our becoming, that which is sacred within, among, and beyond us. Gather in with us this afternoon as we come together to ordain Steve Seek, to connect in community and to wrestle with the questions. Gather with all of us who are trying to hold more than we were designed to hold. We lucky recipients and also weary travelers through time. This moment now that is always unfolding. Let us feel our own power. Let us feel the beating heart of love within. Let us feel the breath that connects each of us to every other person here and to all of life. We are part of this powerful web of life, this love that is so much bigger than any finite moment of fear, of error. This love that is so much bigger than any one thing. May we connect with that love with all of life, and may it help us know innately when is the best time to do things. Who is most important? What is the right thing to do? May we know innately when to gather, when to make a circle of protection, when to open to the surprises of the Spirit. And let love keep unfolding. May it be so, and amen. Yes.
In the living tradition of Unitarian Universalism, the authority to confer ordination lies wholly with each individual congregation. It is a meaningful and joyous occasion when a congregation joins together, as we are, to recognize one who has been called to ministry as their life's work. This act of ordination not only confers the authority of religious leadership, but also celebrates the relationship between Steve and this congregation. Steve, the Fox Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship was your congregation here in Appleton, and the place where you discerned and nurtured your calling into ordained ministry during your tenure as our music director. We recognize your commitment to serve the cause of liberal religion and acknowledge the recommendation of the Ministerial Fellowship Committee of the Unitarian Universalist Association. Today, we sanctify and affirm your calling now and in this sacred moment. It is our privilege to ordain you. Steve, are you prepared to embark formally and fully upon the path of ministry?
Yes, I am.
Will the members of the Fox Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship please rise in body or spirit? We remember Fox Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, recognize your calling, and do hereby ordain you, Stephen Michael Seek, to the Unitarian Universalist ministry. Wherever you serve, we would have you serve with high ethical standards, nourish spiritual growth, minister to those in joy and in sorrow, seek justice with our faith and our larger world, live by the values of our shared faith, and speak your truth in the service of love. Will Steve's family, friends, and colleagues please rise in body or spirit to add their love and encouragement to this ordination? Joy and pride, we affirm this ordination, Steve. We have watched you and encouraged you as you worked and prepared for this day. You have our continuing love and support. May your ministry nourish and be a source of healing in this world.
Mindful of its privileges and responsibilities, and with deep humility and gratitude for all who have gone before me and beside me, and trusting in the love and mystery beyond all knowing, I joyfully accept this ministry to which you ordain me. I will continue to hold your words of ordination in my heart and mind. I am open to the wonder, pain, sorrow, and joy of this world. I will do my part in creating justice, speaking truth in love, and ministering with a compassionate heart and hand.
Recognizing that we too have ministries to fulfill both our congregations and this world, we recommit ourselves this day to our own callings and to the journey with you in unity in heart and mind and in bond of love. Amen.
When I offered to make a stole for Steve, I didn't realize he had stole makers in his family. So he's going to go home with quite a wardrobe today because mine is also reversible, so he can wear it both sides. When I asked him what he'd like on it, he just said, I like green, I like teal, I like trees. Okay. So I decided I think of Steve as exuding the simplicity and humility of like the words of St. Francis that we sang earlier, but he's also a classy guy. So the green side is just simple. Oops, there we go. Okay. And the teal side, I thought if he loves trees, they love him too. So there's a cascade of leaves giving him a little shoulder hug on the other side.
I started to pick up weaving a little while ago, and so I thought, hey, might as well make a stole since they can be pretty expensive. Saving money and materials, and the labor hours are free. When I considered what I would want to make, I thought about, what you use like to have visually, symbolically. First thing I thought of was rainbows, of course. You can see them in the back of the congregation and artwork and everywhere. And so the warp is made out of very bright rainbow thread. And then the other thing I thought of was the earth and nature. So the colors are supposed to represent like what you would see in a cross-section of a diagram of the earth. So, and then there's star beads too, because who doesn't want a bedazzled stole? So.
Let's sing together number 95 in the great hymnal, There Is More Love Somewhere. Number 95, please rise in body or spirit.
As Unitarian Universalists, we believe that there is more love somewhere, but that part of our responsibility is to find and to make that love real in the world. We believe that in the interdependent web of all existence, and that God, or the sacred, flows within that web, and that it is our connections that make that love real in the world.
Steve, you have been preparing for this moment for years. Prior to even hearing the voice of your calling, you were finding your voice. You were claiming your truth, and you were creating love in the world through your family, through your teaching, your myriad relationships and networks in this community and all over. And now it is our turn to make visible that network of relationships that holds you today, and the power that flows through us all to you and to your ministry.
Steve, I invite you down to the front, to the floor. And if your body says you can, I invite you to kneel. And I invite your family first to come forward and surround Steve and place your hands on his shoulders, on his back, on his amazing hair. Your family are the ones closest to you, Steve, and the ones most impacted by your answering this call to ministry. They are the ones you must turn to for strength and sustenance. Their love will buoy you through the joyful times and the hard ones.
Now I invite the clergy in attendance to come and lay hands upon Steve or someone near him to widen the web of strength and love. Steve, your colleagues are with you, both here in person and on Zoom in spirit. We reach out their hands to you. We've got your back. Turn to us whenever you need us.
And now I invite everyone else to move in close, to stand, to come closer, and to lay your hands on someone who is already touching Steve or someone near to them. We are creating a connection of hands, of energy, and of love as each of us embody the interconnections of this life, this community, and this work of ministry, which is never a solo project.
Steve, feel these collective hands upon you. Feel the love flowing to you. Feel the power being placed in you, this authority of Unitarian Universalist ministry to which you are called to serve with high standards.
Come, Spirit, come. Our hearts control, our spirits long to be made whole. Let inward love guide every deed. By this we worship and are freed. Let this love in this space, in each of these hearts, in this interconnected web, guide your deeds, Steve. Turn to these people when you are in need and remember the power that we have placed in you. May it be so, and amen. You can all make your way back to your seats. As we each make our way back to our seats, Steve, you can just stand right here. We're not going to let you sit down. There's like a lot of these parts. When I was ordained in 2011, this part of the service, this part of the ritual was called the right hand of fellowship. Unlike the deeply spiritual and emotional act of laying on of hands, which we all just participated, which came to us from our Universalist ancestors, the hand of fellowship comes from our rational Unitarian forebears. It is, for all intents and purposes, a handshake. Right, oh, old chap, welcome to the ministry. But it is true that I was offered the right hand of fellowship by my mentor, the Reverend Bill Neely, and he was offered it by his mentor. And all the way back, we can trace this ritual to William Ellery Channing, or further, I don't know. I wasn't there. It's pretty cool for just a handshake. Now, for reasons that likely have to do with inclusiveness, we call this just the hand of fellowship. Now, I'm a lefty, so I may surprise you and offer you the left hand of fellowship. Or maybe two hands of fellowship. Who knows, Steve? I'm a loose cannon. Which reminds me of what I said to multiple search committees this year when I was serving as one of your references. I said, Steve is both deeply artistic and creative and funny, and also wildly organized. And capable of incredible linear advanced planning. It is rare to find a talented musician who is also really good at managing Google Docs. Steve, you are both right and left-brained, like this weird-handed ritual. Capable of using both or all. We don't need to reify binaries here. All sides of your mind, your heart, and your body for this work of ministry. You are both the Universalists crying out to an all-loving God and the Unitarians trying to reason their way beyond injustice. Both the right hand and the left hand, the head and the heart, and you are going to need it all, Steve, for this ministry that you are embarking on. It's not going to be neat or organized, try as you might to make it so. Trust me, I try. And it's going to break your heart in beautiful ways and also in ways that make you want to quit and contemplate any other career path but this one. But you have both. You have it all, and I trust in your capable mind, your joyful spirit, and your loving heart to carry you through. And so I offer you my hands to hold when you're scared, to pull you up when you fall down, to high five when you're celebrating, and to send memes and GIFs as a source of laughter. Welcome to the ministry, Steve.
You can sit down for this part if you want. This is for them. I told Steve he could sit down for this part. Don't say I never gave you anything. Because this is the charge to you all. And it would be easy for this place, for these gathered people, to see Steve's ministry as one born out of excellence. Easy for us to observe Steve's many talents and wonder what took him so long to bring them into the service of Unitarian Universalist ministry. But that is not the true story about Steve's path into this ministry where he will lead but not conduct, this ministry where he will be both deeply qualified and absolutely brand new all at once, this ministry where he will meet the world on fire with an open heart. The true story, or at least a truer story, about his pathway to this day begins in profound struggle, in the moments of being pushed to the limits of his capacity for compassion, in the search to make meaning out of trauma and complexity, first as a foster parent and then as an adoptive parent. And I wish today that I could charge you all, both the congregation that I serve here, the fellowship, but also this gathered body of Unitarian Universalists, wide and deep. I wish that I could charge this congregation to simply keep up the good work that Unitarian Universalists and our congregations have always done in meeting complex families, working through trauma histories and neurodivergence and the foster system with unwavering compassion and support. But the truth, the difficult and multifaceted and heartbreaking truth, is that this congregation, like many others, I would dare say like most, maybe even all, has failed to fully imagine a Unitarian Universalism that could effectively include Steve's entire family. And if you have a person or a moment in mind that you think this is about, I assure you that it is not about them or about that one time. It's not about you. And if you think that this isn't about you at all because you got it right, unlike the rest of these chuckleheads, then I assure you that it is about you. The truth is that it is about us. It is about the failure of our collective willingness to meet families in their fullness, even when it makes us uncomfortable or challenges our assumptions. It is about the failure of our collective willingness to build a Unitarian Universalism that belongs to all of our children, It is about the ways our aspirations and our actions have been out of sync. And so our charge today, at its core, is to meet people in their struggle, to meet families, to meet parents like Steve, to meet kids like his, and see their wrestling with trauma, their making and remaking of family as places that Unitarian Universalism is already happening. Places in which Unitarian Universalism and our life-saving messages of love and hope and human dignity reveal themselves constantly. Our charge today is to see the complexity of their lives not as barriers that need to be overcome in order to impart our values to them, but instead to seek them out as some of the most seasoned practitioners I know of what it means to put love at the center. And I know that we will not always get it right. I would not charge us with perfection. But out of not just a sense of tenderness or affection for Steve and Anne and their family, but out of my tenderness and affection for our shared faith, for its future and for its relevance into the times ahead, in my bones, I cannot charge us with anything less than imagining a Unitarian Universalism that calls us into that struggle together. The work is ours, friends. May we make it so.
Speaking of love at the center, Steve, I'm going to charge you with 3 things. I'm told that human beings can only ever remember 3 things. So thing number 1, love your people. Love your people. You've already got a really good start on this. And that's good news, because loving your people is the core of ministry. It is the foundation. It's what it's all about. Everything else that we do is just a way to love our people well. Nourishing their spirits, that's a way to love them well. Engaging their minds, it's a way to love them well. Inspiring action, it's a way to love the world well. And so when you are struggling, when you've lost your way, because you will, when it's hurting, when things are tough, know that you don't need more knowledge. You don't need more wisdom or excellence. You don't need to check another thing off the to-do list. You need to lean back into love. You need to reconnect. You maybe do some pastoral care, or do a one-on-one, or call up one of your lay leaders who you connect with really strongly, and lean back into the love, because that's the foundation of what we do. Thing number 2, love yourself and your family. That is the ground. That's the foundation of the ministry. Sharon Salzberg teaches that the Buddha described spiritual practice as the liberation of the heart, and that center of the heart, which is love. So all that spiritual practice that you do is to liberate the love that lies within you, to love yourself well, and then to string love like a rope across the chasm between yourself and all of the other people. Be lavish with it. Lavish in your love for yourself and for your family, because literally everything else depends on it. That love is what enables your flourishing, which enables your family's flourishing, which enables the congregation's flourishing, which enables the community's flourishing. You can't do ministry well if you are not well. That's when we mess up. That's where misconduct comes from. That's where people cause harm. And so when you think, oh, I could do something else first, don't. Lean back into spiritual practice and that love, because otherwise you'll end up causing harm. It's just the human reality. I don't know, I mean, you're a Gen Xer, right? So you remember all those movies from the 80s where there was like quicksand everywhere? As the Gen X joke goes, like I was ill prepared for how little quicksand there would be in my adult life. Letting go of the spiritual practice, not taking care of yourself, that's the quicksand of ministry, and all of a sudden you're getting sucked down in. So this is where you get to practice your Gen X ideals. Love yourself and your family. And finally, third thing, love the world. Cornel West said that justice is what love looks like in public. As Reverend Hannah just said, you're going to meet the world on fire with an open heart. It's that love that's at the center of our faith that animates our faith. So just keep chasing it. Let it pour through you, pour out of you, let it energize you and energize everyone around you. Let it flow. You don't have to worry about getting it right or being powerful, because love is the powerful thing. You only have to channel it. It's the love that breaks the domination. It's the love that breaks the oppression. It's the love that's the antidote to that. So let go of the control. Be a channel for the love, and it will do its work in the world. You can trust it. Keep love at the center. Keep asking what it wants you to do. Keep coming back to it. Dust off the mirror of your heart. And you've got this. Love you.
We're going to sing Spirit of Life in just a moment. We will rise in body and spirit for that hymn. And then I invite you to remain standing for the chalice extinguishing and benediction. And after our closing song, we will be having a reception in the fellowship hall. And if you are able to stay, we hope that you will join us right across the hall in there. And Steve, if you would make your way right into the fellowship hall, because everyone's going to want to talk to you. Please rise, embody your spirit.
Please stay standing as we share our extinguishing words. As we extinguish this flame, let us go our ways with hope in our hearts, with our spirits renewed, and with a deeper understanding of life's mystery. Let us carry the light of passion and commitment to build a better world. Beloveds, go forth with your hearts fixed on justice, compassion, and transcending love. Go in peace. Please join me in singing 298. You got this.